Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be going over a deck that's a bit of a departure from my usual style. I'm calling it Grixis FOMO because it's built around a new card from Duskmourn called Fear of Missing Out. And before we get into the deck tech, I've got a full guide on this deck on my Patreon. Go ahead and check that out if you're interested. It'll have everything you need to know on how to play the deck, sideboard guide, tips and tricks, all that. And you'll also get some special perks on my Discord, which you should check out regardless. Also linked in the description. And yeah, let's get into the deck tech. So, fear of missing out. Basically, 2 mana 2/3 looter, but if you don't have any cards in hand, you still draw, which is relevant to keep in mind because you're often gonna want to be casting this later in the game. Um, but Delirium, whenever it attacks the first time, if you have Delirium enabled, then you get to untap a creature and you'll have a second combat phase to attack with it again. And so the gimmick with this card is that you combine it with Arena of Glory and really beefy attackers like Psychic Frog, Nalagoyf, DRC to just get in a bunch of damage. Um, though I suppose I should just start from the beginning with this deck because it is just a tempo deck. If you've seen Grixis Death Shadow, this is very reminiscent of that strategy, even though obviously it's not running Death Shadow. It is still a Grixis tempo deck. We've got Netherglyph, which is kind of like Death Shadow. It's often going to be a 2/3 or a 3/4 by the time it's attacking on turn 2, and it can be as big as a 6/7 in the late game. Also, the escapability is actually pretty relevant. It comes up a decent amount, and especially with Arena of Glory, if you're paying 3 for it, then you can give it haste and attack for a hasty beater for 4 or 5 or something. It can be very strong. We've also got a place of DRC as another cheap threat, which is great both because it's just often going to be a 1 mana 3/3 flyer. You can have Delirium enabled as often as turn 2 with this deck, even turn 1 if you're lucky. Turn 1 fetch land, DRC, bobble, hit instant sorcery or something like that, or creature enchantment. You'll have Delirium enabled because you'll have artifact land, and then you basically just need to hit 2 types off the 2 bobbles. So just one fear of missing out would already get you there. Um, so yeah, DRC obviously just an insane card. Great attacker and also great enabler for this deck because it does have a number of graveyard synergies. And then the sweep up slot, I already mentioned fear of missing out. Psychic Frog is just unreal. This card is so busted. It's broken in Modern, it's broken in Legacy, it's broken in Vintage, it's broken in Timeless. It's just broken in every format it's legal in. Psychotalk plus Scroll Thief is pretty good as it turns out. Um, and it can often just dodge removal, any damage-based removal. Basically always is going to be discarding 2 cards if my opponent targets it with a Bolt or a Galvanic Discharge or something like that. And even against like aggro decks like Boros Energy, for example, often you just slam Psychic Frog on turn 2, and if they can't kill it with an exile-based effect, then they just lose on the spot, which is pretty broken. So obviously a great card there. And then we've also got a place out of Bowmasters. This card's also super busted. It's the best answer to opposing Bowmasters. It's just a great card overall, and it's really good against Boros Energy right now because they're also playing place out of a ring in a lot of decks, and your opponent's got a place out of rings in their deck full of X1s. Bowmaster is feel good. And then we've got a pair of Croxas. This card just adds a little bit of extra oomph to the deck. It get all that discard with Psychic Frog, Fear of Missing Out, Self Mill with DRC, and the Surveillant and the mana base. So this deck's very good at filling up its graveyard and putting Croxa in there at a low cost. And then, while not quite as busted as Flage, Arena of Glory, give Croxa haste, attack for 6 plus the 2 triggers, still real good. And if you've got a really stacked graveyard, you can still keep Delirium when you escape Croxa, and you can get a Fear of Missing Out doubling up on that attack. Then your opponent's just getting 20-0. Really, there's no way around that on most board states. Croxa is a great card, gives this deck a little bit more ability to grind. And then we've got Interaction. All this deck's interaction is 1 mana. Just we want the most efficient stuff possible to back up our cheap threats because it is a tempo deck. We've got a pair of Spell Snares cards, just really well positioned right now. Initially, this was actually a pair of Inties, but I found that having more instants helped with Delirium. Inti was a little clunky, and Spell Snare is just busted. 4 push and 4 bolt as removal. Bolt is great because it can go face, and this deck is pretty aggressive, and then push just hits a lot of things. Basically every important creature in the format right now, even up to Flage and whatnot. Psychic Frog, Nalagoyf. There's actually a decent amount of cards that Bolt misses. And then we've got Place of Thoughtseize is just real efficient, and a one of Inquisition as the 5th discard spell. Inquisition is a bit of a flex slot, because it is a lot worse into certain decks, like, for example, Show and Tell, control decks. But, you could play, like, a 3rd Spell Snare, a Spell Pierce, or an Intier, really whatever you wanted in the slot. But I like the Inquisition. And then for literary purposes, we've got a playset of baubles. This card is just great. Really good with DRC and all the graveyard stuff, FOMO, and Netherglaive. Also, this deck has a ton of fetch lands, so you can do the fetch bauble thing where you take a peek at the top card, and if you like it, then you don't shuffle with the fetch. If you don't like, then you do shuffle and then draw. So that part's nice. And yeah, now the mana base, we're only running let me see, 19 lands because this deck is pretty low to the ground. Lots of ones, a couple twos. We've got Bauble to cycle. We've got DRC to dig. So 19 lands was just a fine amount, and we're running 3 Arena Glories. I was initially on 4, but it is a little too clunky as a 4 of, especially in our Psychic Frog deck. However, it's still just a really strong card in this deck, giving FOMO haste, Croxa, DRC. Sometimes giving Bowmaster's haste comes up. Netherglaive escaped as well. Haste, that's pretty relevant. Sometimes giving Luris haste actually can be quite relevant because of the life gain. Sometimes you just need that 3 life right away. So Real Glory is just real good. And then we've got just pretty standard. One basic, because sometimes you need Painless mana. Sometimes you get hit by some sort of Path to Exile, Field of Ruin type effect. Assassin's Trophy, whatever. Got 1 Watergrave, 1 Steam Vents, 2 Blood Crypts. We do want a decent amount of fetchables because this deck has such a stealth mill and card draw. You don't want to run out of fetchables. And we got 1 of Raucous Theater. I would love to run a second Surveillance deck because of the Graveyard synergies, but it would mean adding a 20th land. This deck's pretty lean already. I don't think that's the most necessary. Running a second tap land is just super awkward. And you got 10 fetches. Having a fetch land in your hand every game is really important. Here's why I'm running 10 or 19 land deck, which might seem like a lot, but it's really important for turning on Delirium, and it's great for Bauble, filling the graveyard as well. So you really want to have one in every hand. Technically, 10 isn't actually enough to guarantee that you won't want something like 13 or 14 to really make it consistent, but that's a little much for a 19 land deck, especially with the Arena Glories. Still, though, 10 seems like the right amount. Now onto the sideboard, we've got a pair of Spell Pierces to help against combo. This could be, a more robust counter spell like Unlock or Counterspell or Mana Gen or whatever, or you could run Evasive Surgery for Show and Tell, but I like the Spell Pierce. It's nice and flexible. We've got some Graveyard Hate and 2 Ghost Vacuums. This card is new from Duskmourn as well, and I'm actually just trying out. Let me do this to make it look nicer, but I've got a pair of Ghost Vacuums and just 1 Hearse. Ghost Vacuum can be a little awkward because it's sometimes too slow to exile all the cards you want from the graveyard. But being 1 mana is super relevant, and so is the activated ability. It gives you some nice inevitability. Also dodges Spell Snare against Team Control, which is a matchup where you really want it in. And then I've got 1 Hearse, just another way to answer the graveyard. A lot of graveyard-based decks right now. Obviously, there's like random combo decks like Breach, but there's also a number of Delirium decks built around FOMO and Netherglaive and whatnot. So Team Control, Dungeon Delirium, Luris decks. So it's pretty good to be running Graveyard here right now on the sideboard. And then we've also got one of Clink to Dust, also Flage against Energy. And Clink to Dust is mostly in the sideboard for energy, as it's Graveyard hit, but also just having a way to gain life against energy. Because this deck doesn't have any other way is pretty relevant, because sometimes you're just, we stabilize on 2 life or whatever, and you're just dead to a single Flage or Bolt off the top. So you'll have a lot of looks to get Clink to Dust in the graveyard between Surveilling and whatnot because of the escape. So having just 1 on the sideboard, I think, adds a lot to the matchup. And it just does good work as Graveyard Hate spell for Delirium as well. Can cycle if you needed to, exile a Flage for some life. So I like this card. And then we've got, in the sideboard, we've got 3 Pyroclasm as well for energy and 1 Fear Fire Foes, which might look a little odd. It's replacing the 4th Pyroclasm because it actually prevents the 1 rank protection. So not only can that be relevant against energy, where you jam this, wipe their board, and you end up just being able to attack through ring as well if they slam it to protect themselves, which they're often not going to be expecting. Um, but also, this is just decent against decks like Just Guy Control or whatever, where they're often going to be going just like, all right, slam ring, you can't do anything to me, and then we go, Fear Fire Foes on creature attack for 8, and you're just dead out of nowhere. So I like the idea of this card. I haven't gotten to cast it too much, but it seems comparable to Pyroclasm, and has some nice utility. And then, of course, the 3 Pyroclasms, because energy is real popular right now, and Pyroclasm is real good against it. And we've got a pair of Whirling Vortexes and a pair of Vexing Baubles for Show and Tell. And also, they're both decent against the new Soar and Tell deck with like Belcher and all the MDFCs and Sacrifice, like the super, super degen combo deck. Um, and Vexing Bubble is better against that deck because you can slam it on turn 1 on the play. They might be able to Grief or Solitude, so that does means they can't enable Sacrifice, and then that can lead them to have a pretty awkward hand since they're going to be mulliganing for something that a hand that does something on turn 1. So if you can stop that, they might just be stuck with a really bad hand. But then Rolling Vortex is good against Saint Elenda or that big 7-drop that they can soar in as well. And they do free cast the elementals, so both are decent in that matchup. And Whirling Vortex is a little better into Show and Tell because it dodges Veil of Summer, which is something they're already going to be bringing in against this deck. So that's really the reason to be playing a split. Also, a nice upside of the split is that you have a better mix of enchantments and artifacts for Delirium, and FOMO is actually pretty important in against combo decks because it lets you kill them really quickly. It leaves a lot of your nut draws, and so turning on Delirium is really important in that case, and having a mix of these helps with that. So yeah, that's the deck. Let's get into the games. Welcome to match number 1. Jeez, 97%. We're gonna be keeping this. I think it's decent. I grinded to like numbered mythic when I was playing this deck because I had to make my way through platinum and diamond and all that, but um, I haven't played for a couple of days because I've been busy with school and writing, so I guess I've fallen off a bit. But it looks like they're playing some sort of green deck. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Nykthos come down. I let on the Swamp turn 1 because I want to get Steam Vent put it out to have all 3 colors, even though leaning on Fetchland would get around, I don't know. Usually you want to be making sure that your creatures are 2 power by turn 2 and they can get Bowmastered, so I wasn't too worried about it. I think I'll just discard a Kroxa. Yeah, Lightning Bolt seems like it could be relevant. Kroxa doesn't seem spectacular. You generally do want to discard Kroxa as a heuristic. It's a worse card to cast than most of the other cards in the deck in most situations. But sometimes you do want that kind of effect. Your opponent's like got 1 card in hand or something. Okay, so this is Ponza. Interesting. Yeah, that's so we don't have a land drop and we don't have Delirium. So this is a little awkward, however. If we at any point draw land, it's gonna turn on our bolts, and we have a lot of power in play. So I'm honestly not too worried about this. We do need to draw land at some point, but the second we do, opponent's gonna be pretty dead. Really just matters what follow-up they have here. Not being able to put like 1 more power toughness on the Nethergrave is really awkward. Are they just chumping? Yeah, see, this is the thing. It's just a really awkward situation for them. I'm just gonna slam this Blood Crypt and get in. And yeah, no, they can block with the Netherglyphs, but I'm just gonna Bolt Face. He's gonna both pump the Netherglyph and but Seiju's not gonna do it. Also puts an enchantment in the graveyard, and it actually means I can get an untap Blood Crypt and bolt them again. So really, it just meant they were taking more damage. Anyway, Ponza, but they've got Ragavan. Usually it's like a more top-heavy deck with Karn and stuff. Ragavan's a little surprising. I think, I mean, Croaks is probably bad. I don't want Graveyard Hand. If I want Spell Pierce, is there anything else on my sideboard that I think is pretty good? Anything in the main that's bad? No, I probably want some removal spells. Maybe I'll go like 1 Crooks in case the game stalls out and cut like a Fatal Push. I don't expect them to have too many cheap creatures. I don't know, I could be wrong with that. It's a little difficult to tell what they're going to be Do I want maybe a Fear Fire Foes because they're definitely running for ring? Actually, yeah, I think I like the idea of that. I'm expecting my opponent to have ring, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of situations where I just get up on the board early and they're going to be slamming ring to try to um, have a take a breather and getting to push through that. Well, we'll see if my thesis pays off, I suppose. Thoughtseize into Psychic Frog is always real good. So if this is, yeah, if this is a Ragavan, then it's gonna have to die. Yeah, I might as well play the Swamp, I suppose. Fetch lands are good to save because if they Stone Rain me a bunch, then I can play fetch lands and not crack them, and then they can't Stone Rain them. And also they have just optionality of getting colors and possibly surveilling, so really no reason not to do that. It's just there's some extra upside as well. We'll see what they've got here. Topia Sprawl, sure, that's not too scary. Damaging Ooze, that's a little annoying actually. Well, do I think I need to use them here is the question. I really don't want to. It's super awkward for me to do that. So yeah, I think I just won't. I'll grab a Steam Vent so I can have my colors. I'm not too worried about them Stone Raining it as I do have 2 more lands so I can find both red and blue mana. And if they're taking their turn to Stone Rain me here, I'm gonna do pretty good. Oh, Blood Moon. Well, it's a really good thing I had my basic Swamp. I don't think this is gonna work out too well for them if I don't have a good follow-up. It doesn't mean I can't cast red spells or double black, but I think that's going to be too important. And then I'm just going to attack here with the Psychic Frog. If they have a bolt, they can deal 5, but I'll just happily discard my whole hand. And in fact, I'm going to discard a land here. It doesn't really matter which one. The Blood Moon ever comes off the board, I'd rather have the Burden probably. Just get a little pressure in. Oh, do I want to discard a creature actually to make this another Grave Figure? No, probably not. That seems a little excessive. Or the Fear Fire Foes. Just hold on to that for now. And I think I'll play Bobble. Peep at the top of my opponent's deck. Ruin Blaster? Sure. None of this land destruction. I mean, it's non-basic, yeah. I suppose basic land destruction is a real issue for me because it'll mean that I can't. Oh, that's a nice draw. It'll mean that I can't play more black spells, but weird. Oh, sure, they're just drinking the Autoglyph. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's okay. I don't really have anything I could do to prevent that. But I would just bolt it. Does that grow it back? Yeah, it does. And then I think I will just okay, scoops it up. Yeah, that's the thing. Like they can attack my lands, but the threats are just so cheap and efficient that they fall behind on board when they're doing that and just can't catch back up. And even if they had ring there, I would have been able to fight through it pretty effectively, I think, because I could Purify Foes to stop protection, and then I get in for a bunch of damage and draw a card off the Psychic Frog, and then because Purify Foes is just red, I'd be able to also slam Bowmasters to punish them for ring activations, so I think we would have been doing fine even if they had a bit of a better draw there. Alright, well, match 2, and yeah, this is going to be a keep, so it was a little sketchy to keep one-landers, and in fact, against a Lurrus deck, what I could do is I could play Bobble, look at the top, if it's not a land, shuffle it away, Surveil. That way I get 3 looks, or effectively 2 scries, and then a card draw off Bobble, and then a card draw for turn, so 4 looks at a land. Or I could play Fetch Land, crack it, play DRC, then Bobble, I get a Surveil, a draw, and a draw, so I get 3 looks. So I get 1 less look, but I get to use my mana a little better. I think it is correct to, because it's a Lurrus deck, it's fairly likely to be some sort of Demir or Grixis or Jund deck. It's better to not play out DRC because if I can't turn on Delirium, then I'll be in an awkward spot. And so it's not actually that good for me to play it on turn 1 anyway, because I'm often just pretty happy to make this play if getting down DRC is good for me if I'm going to be pressuring. I think against non-Lurrus, I would just snap it off. But in this case, I think it's worth it. And Okay, now I'm getting a little nervous, I suppose. Yeah, so it's okay, it's energy, as it turns out. Ay, ay, ay. So, what's the plan, right? I could Inquisition. I think I'm going to Inquisition. Try to take their best 2-drop, and then I can maybe bolt the God of Souls next turn. Hope they don't have something too good. I think I have to take the Raptor. Yeah, I can't not take the Raptor. I mean, this. Yeah, I'm probably gonna lose this now. Bombardment is really strong, but if they get to play a, if they get to play an Amp Raptor, go up to 3 energy, even if they just fizzle and put 2 counters, I think I'll still not be able to recover from that. Yeah, my hope was that they would play the Onslaught, not the Bombardment, and I could, basically, if I drew a land, I could just play the the Bowmaster instead of the Onslaught Pride, and that would be fine. If I didn't, I'd be able to bolt the God of Souls, which is, I think, the bigger issue here, and then I could try to Bowmaster as the Onslaught on a future turn. At that point, Bombardment is coming down, my Bowmaster is, like, real bad, but I don't really have much of a choice. The alternative is I take Bombardment and just get slaughtered. So, yeah. Cool. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty dead here. Uh, Not being able to hit my land drop is real bad, especially in this matchup where tempo matters a lot. So it's obviously bad in all matchups. I mean, we had a lot of looks. I think it's correct to keep that hand. It's it's fairly likely to hit the second land. It was a decent hand. Um, that's crazy. They milled on a Johnny. That's kind of insane to me. Okay, so yeah, the plan here is that they're going to Bowmaster, then they're going to trigger God of Souls. I could kill the God of Souls in response, but I'm really far behind. I'm just going to hope that they get greedy and put it on a creature that I can kill rather than the cat token. If they put it on the cat token, then I don't know, it is what it is. Which they really should. Yeah, I think I'm just going to scoop it up to not show more of my deck. I think this is completely hopeless. Maybe if they put the counters on the God of Souls, I can kill it and then Bowmaster and then something, but yeah. Unlucky. I mean, we were like a third to hit a land at any point. So basically, it's 2/3 to the fourth to miss 4 times. So comes out to like 15-20% maybe, and then we also do have like a number of draws, like a bauble, for example. And the percentage, the odds of drawing lands go up over time as well as we miss. So I think it's even a little better than that. But that's all right. Let's see. We're gonna cut Croxa, a FOMO, Proxies, and Inquisition are just a little slow, and then I think I'm gonna go down a DRC. They're gonna have Graveyard Hate. It's somewhat likely. Where did my sideboard go? Okay. And it's just a little awkward into Bowmasters against the Mardu deck because you don't want to play it out too early. So I think it's fine to trim it. Like it's that or cutting Necroglyph, but Necroglyph is real chonky. I do like having at least a Croxa. Okay, well, this hand doesn't have as much going for it, so I really don't feel bad about mulling it. And this hand is really bad as well. This hand can't win. Okay, I'll keep this. Set a land and I cling to this to the bottom, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I think I'll just really hope to hit a turn 1 remove spell off the bauble so I can slam Frog. What does second Frog do for me, though? No, I'm probably supposed to just keep the cling so I can cycle it. The issue with Frog is that if they have remove spell, playing the second Frog is just kind of sad, especially if it's like damage-based removal. Then I go like, all right, I can let the frog die and play the second one, but it's so far behind on tempo, or I just have to discard the second frog for the first one. Okay, nothing but lands, that's alright. Okay, it's actually not that alright. Ocelot Bride, sure. And yeah, I'm just gonna slam the Psychic Frog because if it survived, this is actually winnable. And if they have a static prison, then it is what it is. But I mean, static prison swords are really the only two answers they have for Psychic Frog. And look, if they can't answer it, which seems like they can't. All right, hold on. What does this mean? So let's see. All right, they they have a bolt. This means I have to discard my whole hand. Am I fine doing that? Honestly, yeah. If they have a swords, they just do it pre-combat. There's no reason not to, because I don't actually have to activate. And if they have double bolt, then I'm just dead regardless. So yeah, I will just discard 3 cards. If they have a second thing, it is what it is. In fact, if they have a second thing, I was going to be discarding anyway. The last card in my hand isn't going to save me. So they can... I'm really hoping to see them not pay energy. If they pay energy, it means they have another removal spell. If they don't pay energy, then it's because there's just no reason to pay energy. Okay. Okay, this is actually... Oh, no, they have a second one. I guess it doesn't matter if they have a second specifically Galvanic Discharge because they get their energy on the second one anyway. Yeah. I mean, I'm just dead. I don't know. Game 1, just don't hit my second land drop. Game 2. I was gonna say I'm gonna stick it out for a second because I could draw Pyroclasm, and here we are. Though I do need to catch up on cards a little, so I'm just gonna pass the turn. They're not gonna suspect anything because it's just one card. Like, what if it was a bad card or whatever? I'm really hoping for them to commit to the board. Ragavan's going to be the opposite of that. Going to be accruing an advantage without committing to the board, and they hit a Psychic Frog off my deck. If they have a land here, I'm just so dead. Are you for real? Okay. Well, I guess they can't actually cast the Psychic Frog. Oh, it's a lot of cats. And it doubles up the treasure too. That's disgusting. Interesting. So, no, I just have to Pyroclasm. I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty dead to this Ragavan. I really need them to not have something along those lines. But the, like, I can play Frog and try to block, but I can't block the Ragavan and discard because I need the Pyroclasm, and, oh, they had a bolt off my deck. Jeez. It's just too much damage. If they attack with all the cats, I wouldn't be able to survive. So, alright, list their hand. They gotta cast the bolt here. Crazy. That's crazy to me. Anyway, I'm gonna play the land out. They have something, they have something. Hitting my land up is probably worth it. I can't really afford to pay life to a shock land, so yeah. Basically what I'm hoping for is that they could have dashed Dragavan, but they just play the Ocelot Pride, and they got a dash Dragavan, but I just let it hit me. I don't know, maybe I'm supposed to not play the lands so that I can block the Ragavan. Yeah, they just play it out. Sure. So, okay, that's actually very good. Get the frog flying. If I can draw like a Bowmaster. Okay, Bowmaster's here, and I actually think this is winnable. Oh my god. Are you serious? Okay. Alright. We're in this. I mean, this answers both creatures. That's actually just insane. I need them to not have something good here. Like, I still just lose to Lage or whatever. They can have like a random Guide of Souls or something, but they have something good. I'm still just gonna be pretty cooked. I mean, Flage just kills the Psychic Frog and comes back. I could maybe beat a Bowmasters if I drew well. Like, Flage seems to have not much. Now that I've drawn the Fatal Push, am I worried about Ragavan? Honestly, I don't see a reason to attack the Bowmasters. I'm not gonna race them here. Am I? I don't want to wrangle the Lurrus to hand if I don't hit something good. Yeah, I won't attack the Bowmasters. To have a second Ragavan, it's just so bad for me. Bowmaster. Alright, let's see what they put to ping before I jump it. They put it there. Yeah, so now I'm gonna jump it. Exile Lillian, because I'm probably gonna hit another one. Take Frog is redundant, and Bolt is redundant. Alright, I suppose I should have just pushed first and then. Let's be, yeah, I'm gonna kill the Bowmaster. Because I don't want it triggering again, even though I could discard the card to save it. And then I hit a Bolt. That's not the worst. Now I have the Bowmaster back to block. I'll snap a block on the Orc Army. I just need to preserve my life total. Ugh, please don't be good. No. Okay, this is still playable. I've got a Lurrus. They don't. They're gonna get to surveil, right? They have to block. Yeah, I won't be able to answer a Flage because I just have too many cards on game. They can play it, immediately recast it. I can't even hold up Cling anyway. I'm too far behind. Hold on a second. So is it worth it to play? So the upside of playing Hearse is that if they hit a Flage 3 turns from now, because they need to exile. Well, no, because they're gonna get a Surveillant. Yeah, it's gonna be way too slow. I should just bring Lurrus to hand. Because they're gonna get a Surveillant here. Theoretically, I play Hearse, I exile 2 cards a turn. I need to get them down to like 4 cards in the yard. But that would take a while. Okay. Oh, it targets. It targets. Okay, so I'm actually fine. I can play Hearse, and Hearse means that this Chthonian Nightmare is just dead. And now they don't have that long to find a Flage. They only have 10 cards in the yard. It's gonna be 11. I don't think they have a third Surveillant. I'm gonna start hitting creatures. I suppose Bowmasters. Because it comes with 2 bodies. Yeah, now, as long as I don't find a Flage in the top couple cards, it's actually very winnable. And yeah, I'm just gonna slam this Lurrus and go for a Bauble to start drawing cards. Pyroclasm is actually like not spectacular here because the way I lose is a Flage. I need to do this now. I suppose I'll wait for them to fetch, actually. Because they're going to fetch on my end step, and then I can take a peek. But I need to have the Bauble trigger before their draw step, because if they draw Bowmasters and kill Lurrus, that's incredibly bad for me. So, yeah, I'm just going to let them fetch, and then I'm going to Bauble. And if there's a Flage on top, I'm going to lose it. Okay, I take a Vanek Discharge, which I'm honestly fine with. I'm not too worried about losing the Lurrus, because I'm going to win this game if it drags out regardless. Especially now that I have this Hearse, I have this FOMO to draw me some cards, so I think this is fine. I'm just gonna exile some more creatures. It really just is a race to see if they can get a Flage into play before they run out of cards in the yard. Probably supposed to. No, I won't pitch Pyroclasm. I'll just pitch a land. Because if they draw like an Ajani or something, I'll be really glad that I kept the Pyroclasm. Well, punished. And actually they're dead next turn. I'm not gonna attack with Hearse. That would just be a little foolish. Because that would still have me. Oh my god. Okay, I actually cannot believe I won that. I actually cannot believe I won that. I was so far behind. But just like slamming Frog. I mean, this is what I was talking about in the intro. Like, sometimes you just slam Frog and they can't answer it, and they just instantly lose. Wow, that's actually incredible. Like that's insane. We still need to win this game 3 on the draw, but I mean, hopefully it'll be a little easier without them having without me having to multiply or keep one then or whatever, right? Like it's they didn't even have like the most incredible draw. They funded pretty hard for me to win that, but oh my god, jeez. Okay, well, yeah, let's run it back. I don't know. Purifier Foe is still good enough, even if they don't have Ring, which they don't, both because they're the Mario version and because they let on Lura's game 1 and game 2. I don't know why I felt the reason to specify the need to specify. Yeah, this is a keep. This hand is pretty solid. So the thing it does is, okay, they're not playing a 1-drop. Is I get down another Goyf on turn 1, and it's gonna be pretty beefy. I'm not even gonna bother bobbling myself because I'm just always gonna play the Goyf. I'll worry about blue mana in the future. It's a future me problem, I think. All right, Swords to Plowshare, huh? I mean, might as well make him use that. I don't know. They're probably not playing it on 2, I would imagine. I can use this Cling to Dust to cycle in the interim. Yeah, looking for a blue source for this frog. Obviously, it's not spectacular, just swords. Now that I've found the second power class, I'm just firing it off on a Najani. Purse. Oh, that's really annoying. Alright, well that's gonna make things a little harder. I have to slam the frog into the swords, unfortunately. Get him for 1, I guess. Yeah, they're gonna have Graveyard Haste, it's just annoying when they do. This is going to make the Goyf a lot worse, and this is kind of why I boarded out the DRC. It's really bad into her, especially against the Bowmaster attack. But, yeah, Frog still does its thing. Yeah, I'll get in, and they'll exile the Frog, but what am I gonna do? Yeah. Probably gonna do this before damage. I would imagine so. Yep. If I had a fetch land to play, then I could just hold up the fetch land, and then either way it dies. Well, this is weird to me. Don't mind that at all, I suppose, but it's a little weird to me. Yeah, I might as well play the DRC. So it's a little awkward. I would like to Cling to Dust while they don't have hurry subs. They can't prevent the card draw, but mana doesn't line up for me to do that because of the Arena of Glory. Does this mean they have a second removal spell? If they have, come on. If they have Bowmasters, I'm kind of okay with that. Yeah, no, it's another swords, of course. Cool, cool. It's not my favorite. There's no point in playing Nether Goyf. It would just get mopped up by the Pyroclasm anyway. This is rough. I mean, they're missing their land drop, but it just doesn't matter. Yeah, this hurt slows me down a lot. One of the issues of being in Grixis is that you don't have a good answer to their really problematic 2-drops, such as Goblin Bombardment as well. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do here. Could play a Hasty Luris, I suppose. It's so bad. I'll just get in for 1, try to find a moment to resolve this Cling to Dust. So, I suppose I'm not, because I don't have to tap the hearse. Alright, here's Najani. See, are they gonna flip it? Really bad into a Lightning Bolt. So, on the other hand, like it's... Yeah. So, what I'm gonna do, my out is they flip the Ajani and make a cat. So I can cling to dust now, which forces them to tap the hearse or give me a card. They're obviously going to tap the hearse. Push does very little here, I'm afraid. Um, well, that's actually not strictly true. Really? Okay, well, now I'm kind of cooked. That's, like, super wrong. But I suppose it's worked out fine for them. So it's actually not going to work out fine because regardless, no, you can't be crowing it here. Way too aggressive of them to do. It's so bad if I have like a push or something like that. The hope is that I could, well, never mind, I suppose. The hope is that I would find a land. I'd be able to go Pyroclasm, Hasty Luris, kill a Johnny. But that is obviously not the case. The Hasty FOMO discard Pyroclasm? No, not Pyroclasm, probably just Nethergoyf. And then getting at the Johnny. This doesn't, like, I need to hit the bolt off the Nethergoyf or something. Or a Bowmaster. Hold on a second. I wonder if they block. I hope they don't block. It's so greedy to fire up the hearth. I don't know. If they do, I'm just dead. Like, if I have a push, yeah. Alright, well. Unfortunate. Like, just very awkward draws, games 1 and 2, and then game 3. Hearse and Bombardment are both really difficult to deal with for this deck. It's why I'm running Spell Snare, partially. But it is what it is. Like, it's possible that I'm supposed to keep an Inquisition for that reason. There's also an argument to putting Pithing Needles in the sideboard and boarding them in against energy, because they stop a lot of things, a Johnny, Bombardment. Honestly, I just wish I was splashing green so I could play Culling Ritual, because that would go a really long way in this matchup. But I think overall, like, it's still... These cards are very much beatable. Like, if they didn't have the swords for the second frog, I would have won fairly easily through both of them. This is going to be a mulligan. There's so many one-landers nowadays for some reason. I can bottom, I guess, a TRC? Between that and FOMO, I definitely want these three. Yeah, I'll do that. What I want to do is go Thoughtseize into Psychic Frog. The upside of keeping DRC is it's possible I want to go Thoughtseize into Spell Snare. I can also keep up Spell Snare. But I don't know about that. I'd rather just Thoughtseize my opponent. Because it's pretty bad for me if they don't play a 2-drop. Okay, it's Show and Tell. Yeah. So punish for not punish for taking the DRC. So what can I do here? I can take the dig through time. Try to Spell Snare the Speak on my turn. Try to run them out of cards. I take the Show and Tell. Dig through time is gonna be a huge problem for me though. I'm not gonna be able to kill them fast enough to get around it. I would really like to play DRC and hold up Spell Snare. It's unfortunate that I don't get to. Because they're definitely not main phase in the Seek Knowledge, and I just can't slam my tutor up into their mana drain. Yeah, the reason I have to take dig through time, I think, is because they would already have 3 cards, 4 with the fetch, 5 with whatever spell they cast. They're just casting it on 3. I can't do anything about it. I should have done this on their upkeep. I don't know why I waited. I was too busy yapping. Because they're going to shuffle this card away, so it doesn't matter. Should have just known about this. But basically, it would just already be online, and it's a lot scarier for me than a singleton show and tell because they need the other piece, and I can maybe find more interaction to try to take the Tell afterwards. Play draw is gonna make a huge difference here. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to pass. I can play a 3-drop on turn 3, which is gonna be real good, of course. I just have to spell snare the Seek because it's too likely to hit payoff show and tell. And then I'm not even gonna have an answer for the mana drain, but that point will be kind of my hand will just be forced. I can't sit around forever again in this matchup. Yeah, play the FOMO. It's more replaceable. I literally have a second one. And it turns on Delirium by virtue of being in the graveyard, which is nice. They're 100% mana draining it here. It'd be incredibly silly not to. The issue with this whole thing is that like they're just gonna have enough cards in the graveyard to get a Mystic Sanctuary, get back Dig or Seek, and try to find it. What? I mean, this means I'm dead because I have a Dig through time, I would assume. Nothing would really make sense if I don't have a good play here. Like, what? What are you saving mana drain for? It's attacks for 4 and potentially a lot more. Very interesting. So if they had a dig, they should have held priority and cast it. What? I don't understand. I just don't understand why they wouldn't mana drain there. I can't really think of a reason that isn't dig through time. Like, what are they scared of? Show and tell? I mean, it probably just doesn't matter, but still. One card. If it's any sort of card where they can Mystic Sanctuary for dig through time, I don't understand what's going on. Oh, sure, it's a mastermind. They just ripped the masterminds. Alright, I mean, now they're just getting a Traxa. I might as well skip it up. I guess, like, maybe they were just playing around like a Thoughtseize. Like, I go land Thoughtseize and they mana drain it because the FOMO didn't matter, but still just seems like very sketchy to me. So this is a more controlling version. It tends to be a worse matchup because you've got answers. Fatal Push is like really, really bad. I want my Roiling Vortexes and Hexing Bubbles, and I think I want Curse, but the other ones aren't fast enough. I mean, Crux is pretty bad, worse than Bolt probably, because it's just slower, and then I can get the a Bolt. Because it's still just Lava Spike in this matchup, which isn't all about Lava Spike. And they're not playing Ring, I don't think. So I think I can run like this. I could play Cling to Dust to stop Mystic Sanctuary, but it's a little slow. I really want to be coming out the gate pretty quick. Waiting. Huh? Against faster versions of Show and Tell, just Thoughtseize into 2-drop into like another Thoughtseize or something like that. It's often good enough. Against a slower version, the fact that they can hold up management for the 2-drop, being on the play is going to be huge because that means that they can't manage my 2-drop, which is really where the whole thing kind of falls apart in terms of applying pressure. I'm gonna play Netherglyph, and I'm gonna bobble my top card. Because if I want it, then I can play Shockland. If I don't want it, I can fetch. And I don't want it, so I will, in fact, fetch. Getting a Blood Crypt? Yeah. And then I will bobble my opponent on their upkeep because they might be playing Thoughtseize. Alright, so fetch. So, I could play FOMO here. Give me a good amount of pressure, or I could play Netherglyph plus Thoughtseize, or I could play Psychic Frog. How many Any option? So if I play FOMO, will I have Delirium? The answer is yes, because I'll discard probably Netherglyph, and then next turn I can Thoughtseize, and then how much damage will that be? So right now it'll be 3, it'll take 4 off their fetch land, so go to 16. Yeah, untap. 14, won't kill them, because I can't get another Netherglyph to a 7, it's impossible. Unless I draw Bolt and somehow get like an enchantment to the graveyard. And I can play Psychic Frog, which is less pressure, but it draws me cards, which can find me more interaction. It's probably the play. And so I will play the Psychic Frog in combat, because in case they have like a spell or something, I'd rather have another Grave getting the extra card in the graveyard, and then I'm gonna attack. I do want pressure. So I could discard FOMO, which pumps the Netherglyph by 2. I think I'm gonna do that. And basically, I'm not really expecting them to have removal. The upside of this is they're gonna be dead in 2 turns, basically no matter what. So, because even like with this, I can go next turn attack for 6. I can make it 7 with the Thoughtseize, then I can discard a random card to make it 8. It's already gonna be half their life total, and I can even not discard, just discard the following turn. Thoughtseize, sure, they're gonna take my Thoughtseize. That's not good because it means now that if I don't find an interaction spell, they're likely to just kill me with Show and Tell. But I have a lot of things I can draw here, because I can draw also the anti-Show and Tell stuff, Vexing Bobble, whatnot. Cool. So I'm going to play that pre-combat. I'm not close to lethal right here, because I have 7. I can't get a 6th type. I can only deal 10. So I can make it so that if I draw Bolt, I kill them, but it would be just straight off the top Bolt, and that's not worth it, I think. Getting to Surveil, how to hit an answer is good. So, yeah. No need to discard, because if I get to attack next turn, they're going to be dead regardless. I mean, need the Navigate in the land. Epic. Alright, so couldn't find a second piece of interaction with a lot of looks, and I don't think Thoughtseizing was the correct play, because it would have just given them an extra turn anyway. Would have taken so much time off my clock. So, if they can kill me here, I'm dead. They have a Surveil, and then they have just their opening hand. I'm hoping, this is Copium, but I am hoping that because they are the more controlling deck, they're going to be A, slightly less consistent, B, slightly more willing to keep a hand that doesn't have the turn 3 kill. Though, shocking in all the end, huh? Seems like I'm pretty dead. Atraxa? Hold on a second. Oh, I shouldn't have shocked on the land. Oh, though I think they're dead regardless. Yeah, this is lethal. Nice. Unless I have a free spell of some sort. This is, they block 5 to gain, go to 10, but Netherglyph is just too beefy. So yeah, this is why I didn't want to discard that Netherglyph, though. They would have been at 1. I think they're still dead, even if I did. Rolling Vortex actually just makes things really easy. I shouldn't have showed it to them, I suppose, but nothing wrong with a bit of flexing. Now they'll know to play around it, which I guess is dumb. Because they were dead anyway. I don't think there's anything I could realistically have. Yeah, what could they have to save themselves here? If I didn't Rolling Vortex, they would need to. I mean, they just need to answer one attacker or some. Oh, I guess maybe like surgical. Surgical costs 2 life. Thinks another goes by 4. That would be. That put them to 0. Suppose that would actually be kind of close, huh? Anyway, game 3. Don't want to change anything. I don't think I do. No reason to. Yeah, run it back. Alright. We're gonna need to hopefully find some interaction here. since on the draw it's going to be very difficult to race. Really want, I mean, you can't keep a hand without a 1-drop, whether it's a creature or like a Thoughtseize. It's just way too slow to keep a hand without something like that. But, I don't know, I wish I would prefer. Probably, I mean, Another Glyph on 1 is good. A lot of pressure. Another Glyph on 1, DRC on 2 plus Thoughtseize. Go for that. And then just having a hate piece to have in hand to put in off Show and Tell is like some very good insurance. Yeah, I mean, this is a keep. Can't ever mull this hand. That's a nice draw. So they have Veil of Summer is what I expect. If they cycle a Lorien here, then maybe not. Maybe they're just playing it to do that, but this is pretty suspicious. Either way, though, I'm just bobbling. And I'll be upkeeping, because they do, in fact, have Thoughtseize, and I'll mill that. I just need to get Delirium online here. I'm not sure if I want to actually cast the Vexing Bauble, because it opens it up to counters, whereas if I put it in off... okay, they do have Veil of Summer, so I guess Vexing Bauble is just kind of useless. Though, if they show and tell on 3, then they won't have mana to Veil of Summer, because they can't do it for free, otherwise it gets countered. So, that is not nothing. FOMO, huh? So, suppose they're going to be using their mana regardless here. So I think I'm supposed to cast something. If I'm going to cast something, then I think it's going to be... There's 2 options, basically. I think I'll take a Steam Vents in case I draw, like, 2 bolts. I think I'm more likely to need double red than anything else. I could end up needing double black. Let's see if I draw, like, a Thoughtseize and want to play... So basically, I can play FOMO or I can play Psychic Frog. If I play FOMO and they counter it with Mana Drain, that'll turn on Delirium. If I play Psychic Frog and they counter it, it won't. That's the main difference. The upside of Psychic Frog is it will, draw cards, but so does FOMO. And it's a similar amount of pressure, honestly more from the FOMO, so I don't think it actually matters. So yeah, I'm going to discard a Bomas. I don't need multiples, I don't think. Found a Spell Pierce. Oh, am I stupid? No, I guess not. Yeah. Yeah, I could have enabled Delirium regardless. I mean, if I don't get to enable Delirium, then it'll be pretty awkward that I play the FOMO over the Psychic Frog. It's fairly likely I can do it next turn. I don't actually have anything to hand to discard, or didn't, that would turn on Delirium. And now I have the Spell Pierce, but I don't want to discard it. Yeah, the Seeking Knowledge. If they show and tell here and put in a track, so I'm dead. They put in Omni. Oh, they missed their land drop. Wild. Okay. So now what do I want to do? I mean, I think the plan is... Oh, that's really interesting. So, yeah, this changes things a lot. Okay, you know what? Let's think about this, right? What do I lose to? Because I have this Xing Bubble to stop an Omni. I suppose I'm worried about... Well, I'm worried about Mana Drain. No, because I'm just going to Spell Pierce on Mana Drain, or really anything I do, because I have this Xing Bubble. So they put in Atraxa. If they put in Atraxa, I'm definitely playing the land. I'm definitely getting a Watery Grave. So if they put in Atraxa, is Psychic Frog going to be big enough to threaten it in combat? Is the question. And the answer is like definitely not. So I don't even need to bother with that. So I'm going to play. Then in that case, I want to save the Spell Pierce for the Show and Tell. So I suppose I should just get in and pass. So I want to hold up the Spell Pierce, and I don't want to play into a Mana Drain, because if they Mana Drain into draw land, Show and Tell plus Veil of Summer, that's really bad for me. I'm not going to do anything about that. It's really unfortunate I could not turn on Delirium there, but I can do it next turn. I still don't. Their land drop. That's crazy. Bowmaster. I wonder if they counter it. Veil of Summer? Sure. Veil of Summer. I'll let that happen. Now my whole plan is to just Spell Pierce the Show and Tell, which they aren't going to be able to play around. So I think I'm actually in a pretty good spot. Yeah. Let's see. I can attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Put them to 8, and then next turn, if I need to, I can turn on Delirium regardless. So they'll be dead no matter what next turn. And I want to keep up 2 counterspells plus Vexing Bauble to put it off Omni. So I could just cast the Vexing Bauble and keep up 2 counterspells. Any downside to that? Any downside to that? I think gotta rather get the DRC down. I just don't see a way for them to resolve a Show and Tell here. I think they're just dead. The only way they would be able to survive, and this is part of the reason why I played the second DRC, is they somehow prevent me from getting Delirium on my turn. But I'm just gonna cast the Vexing Bauble, and if they do something about it, it's gonna be Surveils. I could even Spell Pierce. Yeah, I think what I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll cast Vexing Bauble and Spell Pierce it. I mean, I'll Surveil first. If I hit something to turn off Delirium first. Okay, actually, that's just not needed anymore. So no need to do that. And I'll just get in double up combat on a DRC, and this is going to be more than enough damage. Okay, so opponent obviously had a really awkward draw, missing the land drops. All the Seek New Knowledges just couldn't find the lands. However, I do think that outside of like turn 3 Show and Tell into Ataraxia, we were doing fine because we had the Bauble to answer a Show and Tell and a decent chance to untap Enable Delirium and kill them. And if they had just waited a turn, we would have had the Spell Pierce. You had the Spell Snare as well. I think we would have been fine. Like, I don't think that was necessarily just that we got lucky with them hitting their land drop that won us the game. Alright, thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end. It's only a couple percent of you, 5 or 10, that do according to YouTube's analytics, so if that's you, appreciate it. If you want to learn more about this deck, check out my Patreon guide on it, link in the description. As I said before, everything you need to know on how to play the deck. I go over all the card choices and hype up the deck, mana base, sideboard, tips and tricks, everything you need to know. Sideboard guide, of course, matchups and how to board in general, and whatever else I feel is necessary. I haven't actually finished writing it, and it's usually gonna be around like 3,000 to 4,000 words as well. Also, join my Discord link in the description, and of course, leave any comments. Got any questions or you just like the content? Also, like, comment, and subscribe. Those comment is redundant, but like and subscribe to let me know like the content. And almost at 1,000 subscribers. Almost is a little bit ambitious, but after that I'll be able to monetize, get my like $1 of ad revenue per video. So looking forward to that. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.